Now, let's go back to that story about the peace agreement having been reached to end the war in Ethiopia. The talks were held in Pretoria. Of course, they were sponsored and led by the African Union. This deal was reached just 2 days ago. The war began in November 2020. Over 500,000 people are said to have been killed since the start of the conflict. I'm joined now by Mahlet Ayele, Ethiopian independent researcher and journalist. Mahlet, good afternoon to you. Hope you can hear me loud and clear now. I've seen this deal being described as a surprise peace deal. Were you surprised?
Afternoon, and thank you for having me. Yeah, well, I have to say that it is, I have been stubbornly optimist for the result of this peace deal, as an African. First of all, this is in the interest of every Ethiopian, meaning peace was and is in the interest of every Ethiopian, and that includes as well the people of Tigray. Let me just establish that. Then secondly, this peace was, this peace deal was very symbolic in two ways. One, because it was achieved on the eve of where Ethiopians across the globe are preparing and commemorating the massacred Ethiopian National Defense Force that was in the northern Ethiopia, namely in Tigray. That's how this conflict started, because TPLF did a premeditated attack against the Ethiopian National Defense Force. So the day was November 4th. So just on the eve of that, November 6th. So it just kind of closes that circle, and hopefully it will remain so. Secondly, it was symbolic for me because this peace deal was, it was a peace deal that championed the African solution to African problems. So this, Ethiopia, in a way, has won the battle. Is not something. We are not in celebratory mood because we have lost lives, people have been displaced, infrastructures have been destroyed, lots of challenges that had resulted because of the war. But we are happy that peace have been achieved. But I'm an Ethiopian, but at large, I'm an African, and I am happy the way this was achieved. Ethiopia has been, in the past 4 years, we can say it was a political experiment in the continent by really sticking to African solution to African problems. First, during the disputes that we had, or we still have with the downstream countries, with Egypt and Sudan, bringing it to the African Union, again led by how symbolic it is by the South Africa leader, the then president of, at that time he was the chairman of the African Union, and then now still South Africa is involved in the African Union, and the various, Africans that took part, including the elder, the former president of Nigeria, President Cyril Ramaphosa, and the former president of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, and all Africans that have been involved in this. It's a victory for Africa as well, that because we champion that African solution to African problems, and that is really the important part in this peace deal.
Now, in their statement that was issued after the agreement was reached, the statement was made that both sides have agreed to permanently silence the guns and end the 2 years of conflict in the Tigray region, which is in the northern part of Ethiopia. But I see that mediators are saying this is just a first step in what would most likely be a very difficult period to implement some of these. I mean, you have a lot of problems. You've got 5 million people who've been affected, and they currently need food aid there. So you have a humanitarian kind of crisis as well. So are you confident, Mahlet, that the way ahead will actually succeed in implementing properly this peace deal?
Yes, I am optimistic that, as it has been said, it's just the first step. In fact, peace is a process. So all those things, if you have seen the peace agreement that has been signed by by the Ethiopian government and then also TPLF, it's a very detailed one that gives from 10 years to 30 days, and very detailed in a way that what has to be implemented on what day. Each day has a plan for the next 30 days. And then also the government, it has been, the Ethiopian government has been cooperating, but we don't have to forget that also, there are international, organizations and non-African actors that has been involved in this, who usually has been profiting chaos and crisis in the continent in the name of humanitarian aid and in the name of human rights. So there is a not only possibility, and the Ethiopian government, even now when the war, just before the deal was achieved, where the war on places that the Ethiopian government took control back, has been facilitating those humanitarian aid, of course, together with the humanitarian agencies that are present in the country. So I am optimistic that this will be implemented, because it's in every Ethiopian interest, and there are various also stakeholders who are up to implement and to support the government. The Prime Minister has written a letter right after the peace deal has been achieved, and had made a call also for the for the African Union and also for the international humanitarian agencies to cooperate for this, and there are those who responded as well. Yes,
yeah, I mean, you say you're an optimist, Mahlet, but are you confident that the process, for example, of disarmament, because, I mean, a lot of guns are up there, and the Tigrayan fight has been very well armed, are you confident that disarmament will proceed smoothly?
This definitely, time will tell, but I am, from the way that they have committed, what option now do we have except taking the party for their word? So time will tell. But for now, it seems that that has been respected. There are propagandists from the other side who still try to spoil this, even by taking out words and sentences from the agreement. But it is the interest of the people. So at the end of the day, I think that's what will shine out. Yeah.